Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Let me hear you sing it, all right? Here we go. You know the words. Shabbat, Shalom. Hey, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We're so excited to be celebrating with Aidan and Ethan Schwartz and the whole family. It's so nice to see all of you have shown up to celebrate with them. And for those joining us on live stream, we're glad to have you as part of our community also celebrating with Aidan and Ethan. For those here in person, we'll remind you we have a COVID committee who's put in place a lot of rules to help keep us safe and to help make sure this can actually happen in person. There were many months where we really weren't able to gather in person at all. We had to do services by Zoom or outside. We're so happy we can be in the sanctuary. So we'll ask you to please keep your masks on, covering your nose and mouth throughout the entirety of the service. Kazan Stein and I are being tested weekly in order to be able to take our masks off up here on the bima. So we really appreciate your helping us keep things running safely. We'll also ask if you have some technology with you, if you brought a phone, perhaps. We'll ask you to put it away, or better yet, actually turn it off. You really want to avoid that embarrassing moment in the middle of the service where your phone goes off and everybody kind of looks at you. So turn it off. This is a great moment. Make sure it's off, it's on silent, whatever it is, and put it away. You won't need it during this time. This will just be an experience of celebrating together. So we're going to have Aidan and Ethan come on up here and get ready to start leading us. You can follow along throughout this service in the lighter red book, the prayer book, the Siddur, in front of you. So you can start on page 214, and they're going to ask for our help, Aidan and Ethan, reading the alternate lines with them. They'll be reading in English, the prayer Ashrei, and we're going to read the alternate lines with them. You can take your masks off.
Joyous are they who dwell in your house. They shall praise you forever.
Joyous the people who are so favored. Joyous the people whose God is Adonai.
I exalt you, my God, my sovereign. I praise your name always.
Every day I praise you, glorifying your name always.
Great is Adonai, greatly to be praised, though your greatness is unfathomable.
One generation praises your works to another, telling of your mighty deeds.
I would speak of your majestic glory and your wondrous acts.
Generations speak of your awe-inspiring deeds. I too shall recount your greatness.
They recount your greatness, or your great goodness, and sing of your righteousness.
Adonai is merciful and compassionate, patient and abounding in love.
Adonai is good to all, and God's mercy embraces all of creation.
All of creation acknowledges you, and the faithful bless you.
They speak of your glory, of your sovereignty, and tell of your might.
Proclaiming to humanity your mighty deeds and the glory of your majestic sovereignty.
Your sovereignty is eternal. Your dominion endures in every generation.
Adonai supports all who falter and lifts up all who are bent down.
The eyes of all look hopefully to you, and you provide them nourishment in its proper time.
Opening your hand, you satisfy with contentment all that lives.
Adonai is righteous, and all that is done, faithful to creation, all creation.
Adonai is near to all who call sincerely.
God fulfills the desire of those who are faithful, listening to their cries, rescuing them.
Adonai watches over all who love the Holy One, but will destroy all the wicked.
My mouth shall utter praise of Adonai. May all that is mortal praise God's name forever and ever.
We shall praise Adonai now and always. Hallelujah. All right, Aidan, Ethan, you can go have a seat for a minute, and Chazan Stein will continue on page 217 with Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יש מרבם מבורך לעלם לעלמי עולמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקודשה ברכו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תאמירן בעלמה ואמרו Amen.
We're going to call forward Eleda and Ahal Maturin and Barbara and Richard Schwartz to come forward. We are about to start our Torah service, the service where we're going to hear Aidan and Ethan read from the Torah and be called up as bar and bat mitzvah. So we'll have the four of you come forward. You can actually, okay, that's good. Come forward. They're going to open the ark for us. We're on page 218, and we'll invite everyone to rise as the ark is opened.
ואני תפילתי לך אדוני את רצון אלוהים ברוב חסדך ענני באמת אישך ויהי בנסוע הארון ויאמר משה קומה אדוני ויפוצו אויביך וינוסו בשנאיך מפניך כי מציון תצא תורה כי מציון תצא תורה ודבר אדוני מירושלים ברוך שנתן תורה ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו גדלו לאדוני איתי ונרממה שמו יחדיו על שלושה דברים על שלושה דברים העולם עומד על שלושה דברים על שלושה דברים העולם עומד על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים על התורה ועל העבודה ועל
may be seated. The Torah portion that we're reading this week, Lech Lecha, is one of the very first in the Torah. We're all the way at the beginning of Genesis, and we read the origin story of the Jewish people, all starting with Abraham. Abraham is about to embark on an important adventure, this adventure of beginning the Jewish people. We're going to hear more about this in a bit. And we know that it's his own personal journey that he's going through, but it's also a journey for the future of the Jewish people, which is really not unlike what Aidan and Ethan are doing here today, becoming B'nai Mitzvah. They're embarking on their own personal Jewish journeys, right, trying to become more responsible Jews. And with that responsibility, they're going to make the Jewish people better as a result. So we're going to actually call you forward, Aidan, Ethan, and Craig and Jen. You can come on up here as well. Make sure to bring the talit, both talitot, and your speeches. Because Craig and Jen have some special words of blessing that they want to offer today to Ethan, first to Ethan, then to Aidan on this special day.
I'm going to speak to Ethan first, but I'm going to say a little something first to the two of you as twins, brothers. As twin brothers, you've always been so sweet and kind to each other most of the time. From the day you were born, sharing a room for 5 years, sharing your toys, sharing your friends and relatives, and yet always striving to be your own individual selves. Not always playing the same sports, not always having the same friendships, not always listening to your parents at the same time, yet always looking out for each other, which warms our hearts and makes us very proud. The way you root for each other and your twin bond is truly amazing to witness. Okay, Ethan, you are finally a bar mitzvah, and I couldn't be more proud than right now. I'm going to start out by reminding you that your Hebrew name, Aidan, means strong and spiritual self. This is you. Ethan, you have so much strength, empathy, and love that comes from you. You have such a pure and kind soul. You just came out that way, and it was nothing that Dad or I did. You have always cared so much about your family, your friends, and any stranger you meet. You love when we go to the homeless shelters and feed them and bring them clothes and snacks. I am so happy we have made this a tradition every year. I want you to know how proud we are of you and how lucky I am to be your mom. You know that you give the best hugs, and I'm so lucky that I get them from you every day. The words you write and the beautiful cards that you make melt my heart, and I've saved every one of them. You are my absolute love. You've worked so hard for this day, and I hope you are as proud of yourself as we are of you. I know how much you wanted to become a bar mitzvah, and although there were a couple of times that you got frustrated and said it's too much work, you kept on going because you wanted to follow in your family's Jewish tradition. This is how you approach everything in your life. You are willing to work very hard for whatever you want. You've always been like this, especially with your academics and love for baseball. I love watching you play baseball and your passion for the game. No matter how early or how far away your games are, you always get excited to go and never complain. I admire that about you and how dedicated you are to everything and to everyone you care about in your life. Those who are a part of your life are so lucky to have such a kind and loyal friend. I have several wishes and dreams for you, E. First, I wish you to have the maturity to make the right choices while having the curiosity to experience new adventures and enjoy life. Learn from your mistakes and don't be too hard on yourself. Continue to be authentic and genuine and always stay kind and treat others how you want to be treated. Continue to be passionate about whatever it is you want to achieve in your life because you truly can do anything and everything you want. I hope you, Kylie, and Aidan always stay best friends and take care of each other. And finally, I want you to know that you will never be alone. I will always be here for you and love you unconditionally. I love you with all my heart and more than words can ever express. Never stop smiling and giving those amazing hugs.
Ethan, I remember the day I found out that we were having twins. My first reaction was fear. How would we manage? Going from one child to being outnumbered with 3 meant having to switch to zone defense. Those first few years weren't easy, just ask your mom. It was survival mode. But as you began to walk and talk and play sports and ultimately became my mini-me, I could no longer imagine.
He's a crier.
I'm the crier. I could no longer imagine a world without you. Woof. The joy that I get, it wasn't that funny, come on. The joy that I get from watching you play baseball, golf, football, or surf is second to none. When describing you and your brother, I often start out by saying that you're opposites in many respects. Yet it's the differences that make you a great team. Despite the daily dose of bickering and banter, you have your brother's back, and I know that while he may not admit it, he has yours. Ethan, you're the kindest, most caring, and thoughtful person I know, second only to your mom. You consistently give more than you receive, and rarely, if ever, do I hear you complain. You carry yourself with poise and confidence, like it comes naturally to you, despite your age. You're confident yet humble, which is a very important distinction. These are the character traits that I believe are so important in terms of what it means to be Jewish. I'm so proud of how hard you studied and learned all the prayers because you knew this was something important to your heritage. And while the thought of a great big party might have been your motivator, I hope that you'll reflect on why this day means so much more. Becoming a bar mitzvah is an important milestone in the Jewish tradition, as it's your time in your life when you become a man. That means taking more responsibility for your life, your actions, and your future. I know that may sound overwhelming, and it's more than okay if that makes you feel a little bit uneasy. Life is not always easy and comfortable, but it's when you feel uncomfortable that you know you're stretching to accomplish great things. Your mom and I will always be by your side to provide advice, guidance, and support. Follow your heart, pursue happiness, and be true to yourself, and the rest will follow. Please remember this: success is not just measured by how much money you make or how many possessions you accumulate. It's measured by how you live your life, the relationships you build and nurture, and what you give back to others that truly create a rich and successful life. I love you very much, and I'm so proud of you.
So Ethan, you're going to receive your talit now. So we'll give Ethan his talit, and he's going to recite the blessing and then put it on. Into the microphone.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahitatev b'tzitzit.
Amen. All right, Ethan's going to put on that talit, and then he'll take a step aside, and we're going to have Aidan come forward, and Jen and Craig, you'll speak to Aidan now.
Okay. Aidan, you did it. Almost there. I'm so proud of you. You bring joy and laughter to us every day. I love your huge, amazing smile and your cute smirk with your funny eyebrow lift. You also keep us on our toes with your big personality. You definitely know how to get what you want in life, and you don't take no for an answer. Since you were a little boy, you have been so inquisitive because you want to know about everything. Sometimes you may ask a little too many questions, but I am so impressed by how much you try to learn from others. You not only have an old soul, but you have such a kind and empathetic one, which is beautiful. Since you were in elementary school, I have admired how you always stuck up for the underdog and never went along with the majority just to fit in. You are a leader and fight for what's right. If you have Aidan by your side, you are in good hands. That's an amazing quality and one you cannot teach. You are also very independent and very resourceful. You remind me so much of your dad in the way that you can take apart anything and put things together. You have built amazing things with your dad, including a Nerf gun wall, a wooden safe, a shoe console, and even arranged the coolest computer monitor area in your room. The same way you have showed this determination, I see it on a daily basis with how hard you work to become a great athlete and a better basketball player, and how determined you are to do great things in school. I know how hard you worked for this special day, and there were a few times you thought about giving up. At first, you were doing this more because Dad and I wanted you to carry on our family tradition, but as it got closer, I could see how proud you were of yourself and that it meant more to you than you had expected. I have some advice and dreams for you, Aidan. First, I hope you always stay true to yourself and continue to fight for what you believe in. Continue to be authentic and strong, and just remember, what is easy is not always best. When you make mistakes, and you will, I will be there to help you up and learn from them. I will always be your biggest fan. Always work hard and never give up. I know you have passion and drive to accomplish everything you want in life. I hope you always stay so close to Kylie and Ethan, since they will always have your back and be your best friends. Through all of life's ups and downs, I will forever be by your side and love you unconditionally. We have such a strong connection, and I love you with all my heart.
Aidan. You've heard me refer to you as one of a kind. It's not just because you have the ability to leave me and others speechless. It's because of how witty, quick, and so far beyond your years you are. You've always been strong and passionate, unafraid to speak your mind. Deep down inside, you're the kindest, most caring, and compassionate person I know. While you like to project a toughness on the exterior, it's the inside that I love the most. While it's not uncommon to think about Judaism and religion in the context of the holidays we celebrate or the traditions like today's B'nai Mitzvah, for me, Judaism has always been more about the way in which we live our lives. Giving to charity, looking after one another, thinking about family and others first before ourselves. These are the characteristics that defines what it means to be Jewish. While there were many days over this past year that you cursed in frustration for having to prepare for this day, I believe you're more connected to Judaism than you realize. Not unlike your Torah portion today, which talks about the sense of responsibility that Abraham felt spreading the word of Judaism, you also take responsibility not just for yourself, but for others as well. Whether it's going downtown to the homeless shelters and serving meals, or taking snacks and spending time with children who are sick, the smile on your face afterwards and the good feelings that I know you get from this type of giving are perfect examples of living a positive Jewish life. Your mom and I are so proud of the fact that despite your frustration with learning prayers and reading Hebrew, you stuck it out and prepared for today in order to carry on the tradition of becoming a bar mitzvah. Today isn't just about standing up on the bima and having a big party. It's an important milestone in your life. Your education and what you give back to the society. Your mom and I love you so much, and we're so proud of the young man you're becoming. If there's one bit of advice that I can give you today, it's to always pursue happiness, follow your heart, always be yourself, and take time to pause and reflect on each moment and experience, because time goes by fast, and it's the memories like today that you'll remember most. I love you very much.
All right, Aidan's going to receive his talit now. So you'll put the blessing facing him, and Aidan, remember, right into the microphone so we can hear you.
Baru atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahit atev b'tzitzit.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, Aidan, grab that talit and put it on. All right, we're about to start reading Torah now. So Aidan and Ethan, actually, you can have a seat, but Kylie, we're going to have you come on up as we get ready for the first Aliyah. We are going to be passing out a little bit of candy, and you should know this is not a snack, actually, that's being passed out. Later in the service, there will be an opportunity to throw the candy at Aidan and Ethan as we sing a little Siman Tov and Mazel Tov after they've really shown us how much they've practiced and learned. So the candy is going to be passed out now. We'll ask you to try to be as quiet as possible with it so no one on the bima here gets distracted. We know it can kind of have a crinkling sound, but we'll try to pass it out as quietly as possible. And Chazan Stein will call forward Craig, Jen, and Kylie Schwartz for the first Aliyah.
יעמדו מרדכי בן ראובן וחנה בת אהרון וחווה ולאה ציפורה בת מרדכי וחנה ראשון.
Let's start over.
How do you start it?
Ready? On three. 1, 2.
Baruch Baruch Adonai HaMavarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMavarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Chazan Stein will be reading the first Aliyah. You can follow along actually in the other red book, the darker red book you have there, the Torah text, on page 69. It is Genesis chapter 12, verse 1.
Amen. Vayomer Adonai el Avram lech lecha me'artzacha u'mimoladetecha u'mibeit avicha el haaretz asher areka ve'esecha legoy gadol ve'avarechecha ve'agadla shemecha ve'heye v'racha V'avracha, v'avracha mivrachecha, u'mekalelecha a'ur, v'nivruchu v'cha, kol mishpachot ha'adama.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'chayei Olam Nata B'Tahenu Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. All right, the three of you can go and have a seat. We are about to call up Ethan. So I want to remind you all, this right here, this is the moment that Aidan and Ethan have been practicing for months. They've been working really hard. So I know you have candy crinkling. I know there's a lot going on. But if you're going to pay attention for any moment, this is your time. This is really their big moment.
Abachur habar mitzvah ya'amud Ya'amod Aidan ben Mordechai v'Chana Sheni Chazak Chazak.
All right, Ethan, that was just for you. That was our way of calling up Ethan officially now as a bar mitzvah. He's going to read Torah for us in just a moment, and you can follow along when he does that on page 71. But first, he's going to share with us some of his own thoughts about this weekly portion.
Shabbat Shalom. The name of my Torah portion is Lech Lecha. The story begins with Abraham receiving a blessing from God to become the father of the Jewish nation. God chose Abraham because of how he lived his life in Haran. Abraham trusted and had absolute faith, emunah, in one true God, one creator of the world, as opposed to the accepted practice at the time of worshiping different idols. God blessed Abraham because of his faith and his sense of responsibility to do as God commanded, without question. Abraham simply understood in his heart that belief in one God leads to humane and moral existence of justice, love, and responsibility for others. God thus blessed Abraham and made him the father of the Jewish nation. I can relate to Abraham in my Torah portion because I enjoy and feel a responsibility to help others, whether it's helping a friend in school with an assignment or helping the younger kids by showing them how to play a game or improve their technique at a sport that I am good at, I love the opportunity to help others. Taking time to give back and look after others can really change someone's life, and the feeling I get when I do this is very rewarding. I also hope that when I help others, it sets a good example and encourages others to do the same. My parents have taught me that giving our time to help others is part of what it means to be a good, caring human being, and is very much part of what it means to be Jewish. I often go with my family to places like the Downtown Mission to serve food to the homeless around the holidays and participate in events where we help kids with disabilities. I get such a great feeling when I see people that are less fortunate than me so appreciative of something that most of us take for granted, like food, shelter, or clothes. For them, these are everyday struggles, and our support makes their lives better. As I become a bar mitzvah, I realize the importance of this milestone in my own life. No longer am I a young kid that relies on my parents for everything. As a young man, I understand that I have an obligation to take greater responsibility for my own life, whether it's being responsible for my schoolwork, my daily schedule, my activities, and or my friendships and relationships with others. I recognize that I can no longer expect my parents to remind me and do everything for me. Like Abraham, who had such a generous heart and strong sense of responsibility to be there for others, I recognize that I must do the same. Becoming a bar mitzvah means that I must act more mature, be more aware of things, and be more responsible. Everyone in my family has had their bar or bat mitzvah, so I'm excited to carry on this important Jewish tradition. I could not be here today without the help of some very important people. First, I would like to thank my mom for everything she has done for me in my life. You're always there for me and so supportive. I can always rely on you to be by my side. Next, I want to thank my dad for being such a big help in my life. You have helped me so much and have made me into the man I am today. You're so special to me, and you always will be. I would also like to thank Kylie for being such a great sister. It is so fun hanging out with you and having a good time. Last, I would like to thank Aidan for helping me through this whole process. You have worked so hard to learn all your Hebrew, and I'm happy we could do this together. I would like to also thank my grandma and papa, and Nana and papa, aunts, uncles, and cousins for always loving and supporting me. Thank you to Hazan Mimi, Andrea Hazan Stein, and Rabbi Galku for helping me prepare for this day. And thank you to all my friends and family, especially Uncle G, Matt Mueller, and Uncle Steve for being here today to support me and Aidan. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Vayelech Avram Ka'asher Diber Elav Adonai Vayelech Ito Lot Ve'Avram Ben Hameh Shanim Vishivim Shana Betzeto Mecharan Vayikach Avram Et Sarai Ishto, Va'et Lot ben Achi, Va'et Korechu Sham, Asher Achashu, Va'et HaNefesh Asher Asu, V'charan, Va'yetseu, La'lechet Arza Canaan, Va'ya'avo'u Arza Canaan, Va'ya'avor Avram Ba'aretz, Ad Mekom Shachem, Ad Elon More, V'Hakanaani, Az Ba'aretz, Vayera Adonai El Avram, Vayomer Lezar Acha, Eten et Haaretz Hazot, Vayiven sham mitzbeach ladonai hanir elav. Vaya atek misham hachara mikedem leve'el vaye acholo be'el miyam v'ha'ai mikedem vayiven sham mitzbeach ladonai vayikra b'shem Adonai vayisa Avram halo v'naso hanegba. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chaye olam nata betohenu Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Excellent job. All right, Ethan, you can go and have a seat. And we're going to call up Aidan now as a bar mitzvah.
Abachor habar mitzvah Ya'amod Asher ben Mordechai v'Chana shlishi Chazak
Aidan, that was just for you. And he's going to read Torah in a minute from page 72, Genesis chapter 12, verse 10. But first, Aidan's going to share with us some of his own thoughts about the portion.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My parsha, Lech Lecha, is about when God says to Abraham to leave his land and birthplace and go to a new land that he will show him. Adonai says to him, he will make him great, and he will bless those who bless him and curse those who curse him. In you shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Although Abraham's family were idol worshippers, he believed in monotheism, the existence of one creator of the world. Abraham, a man of great faith, understood that belief in one God is what leads the way to moral existence of justice, love, and responsibility. This is why Adonai chose Abraham at the age of 75 to be the father of the chosen people. One topic I found interesting in my Torah portion is that God chose Abraham to be the father of the chosen people. He didn't care how old Abraham was. He didn't judge him on his age because he knew how Abraham behaved mattered more. Even though he was older and at the point most would be slowing down and resting, Abraham trusted and showed absolute faith, emunah, in God. He felt a responsibility to do as God commanded. Even though he was older, Abraham picked himself up along with his family and went to the land that God showed him without question. I can relate to this because even though I'm very young, I love to contribute and help those who are less fortunate than me. Even though I'm only 13 years old, I give back to others and try to help make the world a better place by donating my time and help those in need. Every year, we go to the homeless shelters around the holiday season and serve meals to the homeless. We also donate clothes and food to those in need. While my first experiences going to downtown LA to feed the homeless were a bit scary, I remember leaving and feeling so much better about myself because I knew I helped those who were less fortunate than me. I believe that becoming a bar mitzvah is an important step in life and part of the Jewish tradition. It's about taking responsibility, not just for yourself, but for also others. As I become a man, I understand that I have a greater responsibility not just for myself, but also my community and those around me. This also means helping my family at home, my friends, and those who are in need of help. For me, giving is rewarding and provides so much more than taking or having everything handed to me. My parents have always taught me to have a great work ethic. I've seen that things that are earned are far more rewarding than things that are just handed to me. I've learned this firsthand on many occasions in my life. One example is when I started my own business so that I could earn money and pay for my own stuff. My dad had taught me how to wash cars, and I realized that I could do the same for others. So I decided to contact my family members and my parents' friends, and before I knew it, I had my very own car wash business. In no time at all, I was making money, and in return, I was also making many people happy by giving them a great car wash during coronavirus. This experience taught me more about responsibility and independence and the great feeling I got from earning something on my own. I want to thank all the people that helped me prepare for today, including Andrea, Hazan Mimi, Hazan Stein, and Rabbi Golko. I also want to thank my mom and dad for everything they've done to make me the man I am today. I also want to thank my sister and brother for always being on my side and being the best siblings I could ever ask for. I'm so lucky to have such wonderful grandparents and who always are there for me, and the best aunts, uncles, and cousins who love and support me. Thank you to all my family and friends for being here and supporting Ethan and me, especially Uncle Steve, Uncle G, and Matt. Baruch et Adonai Hamra.
Baruch Adonai Hamavorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai. Baruch Atah Adonai. Einu Melech Haolam. Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Ha'amim. V'natan Lanu et Torto. Baruch Atah Adonai. Noten HaTorah. Vayhira'av ba'aretz, vayered Avram Mitzrayma legosham, ki haved harav ba'aretz, vayahi kasher hikriv levo Mitzrayma, vayomer el Sarai ishto, hinena yadati, Ishat Yafat Mar'et At Vehaya Kiyeru Ota Hamitzrim Veharegu Ishto Zot Vehameru Oti Veota Yehayu Imrimna Aho tiat leman yiftavli v'avure veshinam ta v'haye naftat nafshi biklalech. Baruch Adonai Hamavarach Le'olam. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet. V'haye olam nota betohenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten HaTorah. Amen.
Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov,
Throw your
Mazel
candy.
Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yeheilanu, 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 Ulecha Yisrael, Yeheilanu, Yeheilanu, Ulecha Yisrael, David Melech Yisrael, Aidekaya, David Melech Yisrael, Aidekaya. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu.
Aidan, Ethan, Mazel Tov. You feeling good? Yeah. You both did an incredible job. Look out at everyone. Take a minute. Look at everyone who's proud of you, your parents and Kylie. You can see it on their faces. You can see it on their faces. Right? Everyone's smiling up at you. How amazing you two are doing. Ethan, I loved the message that you taught in your speech about responsibility. You're so right that becoming a bar mitzvah means you have to carry on that responsibility for the Jewish people, like you said. I asked your parents about you. They told me that you're very thoughtful and caring and empathetic. You always want to make sure everyone is cared for. You always want to take care of everyone. And that's what being responsible is about. Caring about other people, taking care of others, that's what it means to be responsible. And Aidan, I loved the message that you taught too in your speech about how anyone can make a difference. It doesn't matter how old someone is, how young someone is, anybody can make a difference. And you're doing just that, right? Despite being 13, you always try to do your part to make the world a better place. And when I asked your parents about you, they told me that you're inquisitive. You always want to know everything and ask a lot of questions. It's a very Jewish trait, by the way. And that you're strong. You always want to stand up for yourself, and even more importantly, perhaps, stand up for underdogs. You always want to fight for the underdog. Aidan and Ethan, you two are already becoming the kind of people who take responsibility for making the world a better place. That's exactly what becoming a bar mitzvah is all about. And I hope that you'll always feel that you'll always feel that that's part of your mission as a Jew, as part of this community here at Temple Aliyah, and as you walk through the world. So we have a special blessing for you, the priestly blessing. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God always be good to you. May God always shine down upon you and bring you peace forever. And we all say, Amen.
Amen.
We'll sing a special song now.
We're going to sing a special song that was written by a woman named Deborah Friedman. And Debbie Friedman. And this is about this Torah portion. Lechi lach to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha to a land you do not know. Lechi lach on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing. Lechi lach. Lechi lach. And I shall make your name great. Lech lecha, and all shall praise your name. Lechi lach, on your journey I will bless you. L'simchat chayim, L'simchat chayim, and you shall be a blessing. Lechi lach.
We're going to call forward Samantha and Brandon Zwillinger, Jordan, Brandon, and Alexis Iobi, who will be opening up the ark. We are closing the Torah service, so they'll open the ark as we put the Torah in. Do we have our ark openers? We're looking for Samantha, Brandon, Jordan, Brandon, and Alexis.
Please rise.
We'll invite you to rise, page 222.
It's opened whenever that happens. It's Chaim hi lamachazikim ba betomcheha meushar veracheha darchei noam vechol netivoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Chadesh yameinu Chadesh yameinu kekeden.
You may be seated. Our ark openers as well may be seated. Thank you so much. We'll continue. We're in the middle of page 222, Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברה חירותי והמליך מלכותי בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלל בזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן יהי שמי רבם מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה בריחו לעילה ואלה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דמירן ועלמה ויאמרו אמן.
We'll invite everyone to rise as Aidan and Ethan lead us in the Amidah on page 223.
Okay, three. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zoher Hasdei Avot Umovi Goel Livnei V'Nehem Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Hozer Ufoked Shemashia Umogain Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ufoked Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye Meitim Atah Rav Lehoshia Meshiv Harua Umarid Hagashem Mechalkel Hayim Behesed Mechaye Meitim Berachabim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofei Holim Umatir Asurim Umechaye Emunato Lishenei Afar Micha Mocha Baal Geburot Umido Mechla Melech Meimim Umechaye Umatzmiya Yeshua V'chaken Ne'eman Atah L'chachayot Meitim Baruch Atah Adonai Mechaye HaMeitim
נקדש שם שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום ככתוב על יד נביאך וקרא זה אל זה ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלך הארץ כבודו לעומתם ברוך יאמרו ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו ובדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור הללויה לדור ודור נגיד גודלך ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד כי המלך גדול וקדוש אתה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We'll take this time for personal prayer quietly to ourselves through page 229.
עושה שלום במרומיו. הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
You may be seated. We turn to page 230 in the lighter red Siddur, the prayer book, page 230, Kaddish Shalem.
יתגלה ויגלה שמי רבה,
אמן.
ועמד דברי חילותי וימלך מלכותי בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל והגל אבי זמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעלם לעלמי עלמיה. יתברך ויתברך ויתפאר ותרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקודשה ברכו לעילה מן כל פרצה ושירתה ושפחתה ונחמתה תאמרן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן. תתקבל צלותהון ובטהון לכל בית ישראל קודום ובהונדי ושמיה ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלום רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו amen.
We rise again for Aleinu, page 231.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו בהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. הוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעם. Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad.
You may be seated. We're turning now to the mourner's Kaddish. So if you are in a period of mourning or observing a yahrzeit, or if you have a need or desire to recite mourner's Kaddish, we'll invite you to rise. We'll try to take this moment quietly as there are people here who are remembering those who've passed. Page 232, you can join along with me in the words if you are standing and reciting Kaddish. Yit gadal vit kadash shemei rabba.
Amen.
Be'alma tivra kirute v'amlich malchute. B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata ta'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. All right, we want our whole immediate family to come on up here, and we're going to have everyone rise. We conclude our service with Shehechianu, a blessing of making it to this very special day. It's a song, a nice song. We'll put our arms around each other if you'd like to be able to sing along Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וכמעט והגיענו לזמן הזה ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וכמעט והגיענו לזמן הזה Just you guys, the word Amen. Here we go. Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, Yehelanu, 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 Olecha Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Olecha Yisrael. David melech Yisrael, chai v'kayam. David melech Yisrael, chai v'kayam. Never turned on the